Episode 25. Ow.
You haven't written on it.
I haven't got any chalk. We'll have it. It's in the gym.
It came with chalk, didn't it?
No, it didn't. No.
Oh, Connor's did.
Mine didn't.
I think Connor's did anyway.
I've got some chalk, but not. Anyway, Marvin. Stop. So, Connor's away still.
Yes, playing house. Trying to organise and
moved in with his friend. They're probably,
not his girlfriend. You know,
they're probably trying out every room. You know, the whole house is just filled with the smell of shit.
That surprised me.
So,
God.
All right, yeah, but I'm exhausted after last week.
I am. I'm now just finalising all of the edits to then give the copies to our clients.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, if people were to join us, they'd get all those recordings.
They would, but they don't, unfortunately. If they're not.
No, and we don't share everything. I'll tell you what I did notice from last week. That is how hung up, and the Q&A, we've got another one this week as well, from the week before. People are so hung up on price, aren't they?
Yes, they are. What to charge, when to charge, if I should charge.
Yeah, how much, and should I give a discount, and I don't want to lose business. It makes me laugh. I don't know why. Well, do I know why? No, I don't really. I don't understand why there's this massive thing, why people assume price is such a big deal. I guess it's because it's I'll tell you what it is. I think it's because it's the common medium of exchange. It's something common to us all. So we can compare things by their price. It's hard to compare things otherwise. And I know from speaking to a few of the guys, when a very common tactic is for people to get very right to the edge of signing the contract or agreeing the work and then just saying, is there anything you can do about the price? And of course, what they do is they panic and think, oh, we're going to lose the job. Oh, yeah, we'll give you a discount. But it's ridiculous, because most of the time, if they just say, well, we can put it up if you like, they will just, they'll say yes anyway. I mean, the thing is, a low price isn't even what most people want. I mean, I remember some years ago, I've told this story before, but it's worth telling again. I used to know a guy called Graham. He was transsexual, and his name when he transitioned was Gillian. And I met him some years after all this came out, and he left BT, and he'd been paid for taking early retirement, so he got a big lump of money, and he was going to go and have the operation, have his nuts and things cut off and all turn around. I said, well, where are you going for this? He said, I'm going to get to Amsterdam, Holland. And I said, well, why the Netherlands specifically? He says, because it's cheap. Yeah. And I was filled with horror. I thought, if you're going to have your knackers cut about and all that, if you're going to have that kind of stuff done to you, don't you want good, not cheap?
People go cheap with that. You see so many horror stories online and on TV about horror stories of, say, bum implants and boob implants gone wrong. They've gone to China or somewhere cheap like Amsterdam to get it done. They've paid half the price and paid the consequences.
Pay the consequences, yeah.
I saw one on a while ago. This is quite a funny one. She had her bum implanted, and they'd flipped around, so she had a square ass where the implant had flipped.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's horrific. Absolutely horrific.
I mean, it's all... Go on, sorry.
Or cement fillers in their lips because they've gone for cheap Botox. It happens, and people buy on price, even when it comes to their own body. So no wonder they do something to come to their house.
The thing is, what kind of people are they?
Scum.
Well,
they don't want to pay for quality, and they pay the
price. They're certainly chavs for the most part. Yeah. But the thing is, what people really want, they don't. Very few people actually want a low price. Most people want a lot more than a low price. And if you give them and if you say to them, well, I can't give you the best quality, I can't give you the best service, and I can't give you a low price, not all at once, you pick any two. Which one do you not want? Most people will say, I don't want a low price. Just give me quality, give me great service. Very few people will compromise on quality. But I tell you what, straight off the top of my head, that's a fairly obvious one. But here's 3 things people definitely want and probably need more than a low price. The first is timely delivery. It's no good promising to deliver something or getting something cheap if they can't deliver it for 10 weeks. You know, often you need something, you need it now, especially in business like now. These guys we're doing kitchens and things. For a lot of people, there's no point. There's no point in waiting for months and months and months for a kitchen just because it's cheap. They want their kitchen. The client wants their kitchen doing straight away, now or soon. Yeah, if you need your roof repairing, you're repairing now, and you'll pay more for it because if you leave the hole in the roof and the water gets in, it costs a lot more. So people will pay for timely delivery. People will also pay a premium for an accurate delivery. You know, they'll pay to get the right thing. Have you ever bought something and then it comes and it's wrong?
Oh, yeah.
How frustrating is that? Eh?
So fucking frustrating. It's even my my dog bowl holder that came last week without a screwdriver. When the instruction says it comes with a screwdriver and only use that screwdriver, nothing else. And I thought, well, what a fucking screwdriver.
There is none. But what about this then? This came, no chalk. You know, I don't know how much this was. I didn't order. You ordered this for me, but my clapperboard came with no chalk. Would we have paid more for a clapperboard that came quickly and with chalk? Yes.
That's what I tried to do. It was close to £20.
Ooh.
It was, yeah, the more expensive end of the clapperboards on Amazon. And it was
got a high quality clapperboard here.
Exactly. But yeah.
Yeah, people will pay for time of delivery and they'll pay a premium for accurate delivery too. Or rather, they won't compromise on price at the expense of an accurate delivery. So I don't think many people would say, yeah, I'll have it for, give me a discount and I'll accept a shit delivery that comes late and isn't complete. So I've got to get on the phone and find where the rest of my fucking widget is. You know, people don't want to do that. And the third thing they'll pay for, I mean, it's just three off the top of my head, would be a full service delivery. You know, you can get things cheaper, I'd imagine, by shopping around. So you get the cheap. You say you're having a kitchen done. I mean, we had this with a guy we worked with in the kitchens. He would go into someone's house, measure up a kitchen, and so you're going to have to get a builder in to put the you know, to make good on the walls, or maybe damage the walls and things. Get a carpenter in and stuff. People will pay a premium. I mean, they can get it cheaper if they shop around with the cheapest carpenter, the cheapest kitchen fitter, the cheapest designer, the cheapest electrician, the rest of it. But people will pay a premium for a full service delivery. They'll pay a premium for one person to take full responsibility for the job. I remember going back before you were born, before I even met your mum, I had a mate and his missus left him, and he remortgaged the house, paid her off, and spent the rest of the money having his Volkswagen Beetle done up. Bearing in mind this was at least, Christ, it's at least probably what, 28 years ago, 27 years ago. He paid 15 grand to have this car done up. That's a lot of money then. It's not cheap now, but it was a lot of money. He had new wheels, new engine, bodywork all done, respray, all the electrics done, leather seats. It was really nice. But he wanted to save some money and he shopped around and got everything done by different people. The problem was at one point it caught fire. So of course he was insured, kind of, I think. But the thing is, it was such a nightmare to sort out because everyone, all these different people just passed the buck. It wasn't us, it must have been the other guys. No, it wasn't us either, it must have been this other guy. Because there was no one in complete charge of the project except him. Whereas if he'd paid extra and just said to one person, one garage, I want you to do the whole thing, then it's on them then. You burnt my car down. Yeah, but it wasn't as it was a subcontractor. It's not the point. It's my contract is with you, not them. You know, so people will pay a premium for a full service delivery. You know, not just if things go wrong, but it's just easier.
It saves on communication errors as well, doesn't it, between the contractors? Yeah,
I mean, one of our guys, he's not with us anymore, but he was a project manager, and one of the things he would do was, you know, you get people buy a buy to let house, or even build houses, build to let and things, and maybe 3 or 4 of them, you know, on a plot. And you know, there'd be lay people, they wouldn't be builders themselves necessarily. And they get into a right fucking mess. And part of his job was he would go in and manage the whole project. And although he obviously charged a decent fee, he would save them more because he coordinates everything and stops mistakes being made. You know? So people will pay, they would pay his premium and actually end up saving money anyway, but they'll pay, because imagine the hassle of trying to coordinate building 4 houses. It's enough to make you weep. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
No, I wouldn't either.
No.
I don't even think, no.
No, and it'd be tempting to save a few quid and learn how to do it yourself, but why not just pay someone to do it, you know? Go away and do it for me.
Yes, I noticed that actually. Back my dog bowl, my nice wooden dog bowl holder. There was quite a few with the same patterns on Amazon, and one of them was, I think, about £20 more expensive for the same thing. I thought, well, that's a bit pointless. The same fucking thing, the same wood and everything. Then I realised the more expensive one was already built. Mine was flat packed, so you pay the extra. Yeah. To save the hassle of building it, which I would have paid it if I knew that in the first place. But instead, I spent 3 days trying to build a fucking bowl holder for my dog. So.
Yeah, I mean, and you had to go out and buy a screwdriver.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you've got the screwdriver now, haven't you? But yeah, people will pay a premium, yeah. or they won't expect a discount for a full service delivery. There's loads of other things they need as well. I mean, you know, they want accurate. They want you to have knowledge. They want a listening ear. They want someone who understands their problem. They want that peace of mind, knowing if something goes wrong, they can actually come to you. You know, because, for instance, Ryanair is a great example. They are cheap. Everyone knows they're cheap. Okay, they do rack up the price if you buy the food on the plane and things, and if you get things wrong and have to pay the extra. Fine, but that's the business model. Everyone knows what Ryanair are like, and if you stick by the rules, you're fine. They are cheap. But if you have a complaint, don't expect any kind of decent service from them. You just don't, you know, because that's part of the game. And it makes me laugh. The people who buy they fly with Ryanair because it's cheap, and they will cut as many corners as they can. And then they express surprise when things don't work out how they want them to. And they express surprise then that Ryanair are very unsympathetic. Well, what do you expect? You bought the cheapest, lowest price thing you possibly could. And then you pay for quality. You get what you pay for.
Yeah. I think from my memory, there was one time we flew over to see you in Ireland, and I think the tickets were close to maybe £5 or £10 or something like that.
Yeah.
Then you wonder why they're so cheap. And then you get down to the dirty of it, and you realise, say, if you're overweight and can't fit on just one seat, you've got to buy a seat there and then. It's like fucking £400 or something. Stupid in comparison to.
Was it you or was it Rosie when we had to take stuff out the suitcase because we were like a kilogram over? And they wanted to charge us €50, and I thought, I'm not paying €50 for a kilogram. So I just stuffed something in my pocket, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, if you don't follow the rules, you've got to pay the price for it.
Absolutely, and I've never had a problem with Ryanair. I mean, that's about the only time I can think of whenever I got caught, and I just took something out of the suitcase. As simple as that.
But people will complain about it as well.
I know.
Like they're owed more than what they've actually paid. But that's another podcast.
Oh, that's an entire book on that. People's entitlement attitude. Christ.
Anyway, there is the issue, obviously, where clients do end up questioning your prices.
Yeah.
But why?
Dead straightforward. Because, like I say, it's the common denominator. Everyone has money. Everyone uses money. We all need money. It's the common medium of exchange. So if you don't give people a reason to pay the price you ask, then it all comes down to, why should I pay that much? Why are you charging more than the bloke down the road? No? You don't give them anything else to hang their trust off, basically. And it's as simple as that. And let's face it, most people will, even if they don't do it overtly, when it comes down to it, if they're challenged and questioned, they will enable this kind of price comparison to go on. But there are people out there, and I've seen it even today, you know, and it's not just people like these stores, these furniture stores with their permanent sales. There are people out there who will quite proudly say, we will not be beaten on price. Why would you be proud to say that? I mean, what you're actually saying is, I will work for less money than anyone else. No, how, what, why would you do that?
You're just asking the dregs of society to come to you, aren't you?
You are, yeah. You're asking to be bent over that table and butt fucked by the ugliest, smelliest fucking person you can find, because they will. If you sell yourself on low price, you will get people who want to pay and will only pay a low price. There are those people out there. There aren't as many as people think there are. But even the best of us, if you don't give me a reason, if you offer me 2 clapperboards, and I can't tell the difference between one at £20 and one at £10, I'll get the £10 one, because there's no reason not to. If you want me to spend the extra 10 quid on the clapperboard, you've got to give me a reason. Well, and the same with the kitchen. You want to sell a reason. Sometimes you can just put the price up, and that's just the price. And like we're finding with Zach, Zach's now selling 4K kitchens for 7K, and a lot of it's just taken as a fait accompli. That's what the price is, and he gives people an experience that they're happy to pay that. When he does get questioned on it, he's got a whole spiel. He's got a whole, this is because you get the quality and the guarantee and all the rest of it. But if you don't have a good reason for people to pay extra, they won't, or at least they'll question you on it. And why would they pay more if it is the same thing? Of course, people will say I can get the same thing down the road for cheaper. And it's then your job to prove or to show that, well, it's not the same thing at all. We are not selling the same thing. You might think so, it might look the same, but it isn't the same, and here's why. Now, that leads on to for me, is like, when you get the price objection, what do you do? When people say to you, this is more than I wanted to spend, can we do something about the price? And obviously the question is, the obvious answer is, yeah, we can put it up. Is that okay? Because here's the thing, when people say, can we do something about the price, or can we negotiate the price, or whatever, they're not really negotiating the price upwards. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is, I want to pay less money for this. They are never talking about paying more. So that's really something really people need to get their head around. When a client says to you, is there something we can do about the price? What they're saying is, I want to pay less. All right? They put it in terms of let's make this a negotiation. What they're actually saying is, I want to pay less money. And let's be very clear on that. But what I've always, I've been doing this for a long, long time now. I think you were about probably 5 or 6 when I started doing this. Whenever people question my prices, I never get flustered or upset or defensive. They'll say, Christ, that's a lot. And I'll say, yeah, it is. I'm glad you noticed. In fact, I'm probably the most expensive copywriter you're ever going to come across this side of the Atlantic. And there's a reason for that. And here's why. So use the price objection as an opportunity, as an invitation to tell them why they should pay more. Because they're asking you that effectively. Why? That's bloody expensive. That's a lot of money, isn't it? Is there something we can do about the price? Well, I'm glad you noticed. Yeah, it is expensive. And no, we can't do anything about the price because we have to make a profit too. But you're paying for quality. I'm glad you asked about this. And let me explain to you why that is. It's an invitation. Because here's the thing. I've said this so many times recently. Last week in particular, when we were doing the thing on pricing for main build. When people question your prices, when they stand in front of you and say, I can get the same cheaper down the road, or why is it so expensive? This is more than I wanted to pay. But they're still standing in front of you. What they're absolutely categorically not saying is, I don't want what you're selling. If they didn't want it rather, or they could get exactly the same thing down the road from Fred, like they've just told you, they'd be down the road getting it from Fred for cheaper. Yeah. Or if they didn't want it at all, they just walk out. And,
Yeah.
It'd be like, go on.
I was going to say, a lot of people that ask about price are also sometimes just asking because they know most people order at the price. We had one guy, I think, that inquired about our services quite recently, and he just said, I know the answer probably no, but can you give me a discount for any reason? And people do just genuinely seem to ask sometimes because most people will bend over backwards and say, yeah, let's drop it by fucking 20% or something stupid.
Yeah, and I hope you told him no.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah.
Well, my mate Vegard, I think you've met Vegard at Big 50.
Yeah.
Big Norwegian chap.
Oh, yeah,
he sent an email around. He's an ISP, internet service provider. So this isn't just people in the trades or anything else. This guy runs an internet company. And all he did was he sent an email around to all of his providers, so the electric people, the computer people, his own internet providers, accountants, all those kinds of people, and just said, we are reviewing our costs at the moment. That's all he said. Probably said it in Norwegian, obviously, but that's what he said. And his accountant came straight back and said, oh, we'll give you a 20% discount, just like that. It wasn't even asking for a discount. All he said was, we're reviewing our costs. You know, we bought our first Land Rover a few years back, and some idiot had written Sarah's car off. That idiot would have been me. And so we got the Land Rover, and so we didn't have a car to trade in. And we'd agreed to pay the full price. And the guy, we were sitting there ready to sign. And the guy just jumped out of his chair and says, I'll tell you what, you haven't traded in the car, so we'll see what we can do about the price. All right. And he came back and said, I've knocked €1,700 off it. All right, fine. Just like that, €1,700 in my pocket and not his, just because he felt bad about charging me that money. I didn't have a car to give him. I wasn't in the slightest bit bothered. I realised there'd be no trading because I've got nothing to fucking trade in. We've got a heap of junk wrapped around a fucking tree, you know?
Trade that in, trade the tree in.
But honestly, it's ridiculous. Sarah will go, I mean, you know what it's like around here, it's, you know, small towns. Sarah goes to the next town up, and she goes in there a lot, and they recognise her when she walks in. So anything she buys, like a bookcase, like the one looking there, probably about €1,000. It might be 1,200 on the shop floor, and they'll just say, "I will give it you for 1,000." All right, fine. And, you know, Sarah doesn't care. She's not looking for a discount, but they will just give these discounts out because they feel bad about charging money. Yeah. Here's the thing: none of us have the right to look at what we're selling and say this is only worth so much money to this person we want to sell it to. That's all it's worth. We don't have the right to say that. We don't know what position they're in, where they are in life, what this means to them, what having it will mean for them, what it will do for them. And what the value of what it will do for them is. We just cannot say that. We don't have the right or the ability to do so. So, you know, you can't look at a pen and say, well, this pen is only worth 10p. I can't possibly charge more than 10p for this pen. To someone else who's got a completely different set of values to me, it might be worth £100. Who am I to say he's not getting value for money by paying that? Well, I just cannot say that. A really good example of that is golf clubs. Gareth sells golf clubs in his golf shop. Well, he does when we're not in lockdown. And he might be selling a set of golf clubs. I don't know. What do golf clubs go for? 10 grand? Wow. I don't know. No idea. You know, you couldn't sell me a golf club if you tried. To me, a golf club is not worth a single penny unless I can sell it on for more money than it is, of course. That's just business. So to me, Gareth could not sell me a golf club. But there are people out there to whom 10 grand is a worthwhile investment in money for golf clubs because the golf is important to them. He doesn't have the right to say it's not worth 10k to them. Look, John said it's worth nothing to him, so it can't be worth much. He doesn't have the right or the ability to say that. None of us do. So, you know, you're selling kitchens or bathrooms or bedrooms or a new roof. You don't have the right to say, well, we can't charge 10k for this kitchen. Everyone else charges 5 for it. And this person's prepared to pay 10, but we don't think it's worth 10, so we're not going to charge that. You can't do that. Well, you can, but you're making a mistake. You don't have the right, you know. You cannot decide for someone else what something is worth. You just can't. You have no way of doing it. So what I would say is when people challenge your prices, thank them for observing, agree with them. Don't be defensive. Don't apologize. Don't say, I'm sorry about that, or yeah, it's really, I know it's really difficult. Just smile and say, I know it sucks if you can't afford it, doesn't it? And then sell harder. Just say, yeah, I'm glad you said that. There's a reason for it.
Here's my value. This is why you're paying more for me and not for...
Yeah, and if you don't want to pay that, that's fine. You can go down the road to Fred, but I guarantee Fred will not be saying the same thing. And if he is, fine, go to Fred. But why are you not down the road with Fred right now?
Yeah, if they are telling you the same thing, it's because it's not fucking put together in the shop.
Yeah, and has no screwdriver.
Yes, exactly.
Or chalk.
I'll have to look on Amazon. Maybe send in a big complaint. I want a full refund. No,
apparently, one of my acquaintances in her Facebook group, well, I can't remember all the details of where it came from, but apparently one of these people, she's a florist. This has nothing to do with price, by the way. This florist, a client ordered some flowers and sent them to someone else. This someone else didn't ring her up and say thank you for the flowers, right? So this woman phoned the flower shop and demanded a refund. So be like, yeah, I've just ordered some flowers from Interflora for you. You didn't thank me, so I go to Interflora and say I want my money back because Holly didn't say thank you.
That's just ridiculous.
There are people like that out there, Holly. There really are.
There really are.
This woman quite rightly said, on your bike, but she spent half an hour on the phone arguing about it. I'd have probably just given her her money back to get rid of her. Oh, no, fuck off, girl. Don't come back.
I wouldn't have done. I'd have sat there and said, no, fuck you.
I don't know. I refuse to argue about money. It's one of my rules. You know, we've all got rules. One of my rules, I don't argue about money.
I'd do it more to wind this woman up more than for the money.
What a waste of your time, Holly.
Oh, but it would be so much fun, though.
I mean, it wouldn't be to keep her as a customer. It wouldn't be to stop her giving me a bad review or nothing like that. I'd just say, oh, have you money back? It's really not that important. Off you go. Off you fuck.
Yeah, a lot of places like that would do that in so I don't get a bad review. That's the biggest reason people won't do that in the first place.
Yeah, so this woman spent half an hour on the phone. What my question would be, what could you have done in half an hour to sell something else or grow your business to a point in some way where you'd have made more than you've just lost if you give this woman money back? You know, you could write an email to your list or something and sell probably 10 times as many flowers if you got a marketing system in place. That's my view. So for me to spend half an hour arguing with someone about money would be ridiculous. In something like that, you know, someone's 40 quid, 20 quid for flower, I don't know. But imagine someone was arguing with me about 50 quid they'd spent on a product for half an hour. Well, if I'm on the phone with someone, I charge them €1,500 an hour. I mean, so 50 quid is how much time? Not a lot, you know. So it wouldn't make any sense at all. And just anything for an easy life like that, really. But the thing is, here's where the ego gets in the way, because this woman's ego, I guess, I'm not giving you, you're not entitled to. So what? Who cares? You know? I
suppose it's my ego too, saying don't do it just to piss her off, isn't it? Really.
I guess it is, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what you were just saying also relates back quite heavily to stoicism as well. This woman quite obviously believed she was right, and there was nothing the florist could have said that would have proved her otherwise or told her otherwise. No. So you may as well, I suppose, agree that she's right, give her the money back, and say, "Off you fuck, don't come back."
I think I've seen this meme passed around quite a bit, so it may or may not be true, but apparently Keanu Reeves is reported to have said he's got to the point in his life now where he's met so many stupid people. When anyone ever says anything stupid, he just says, "Yeah, you're right," and just leaves it, because he cannot be bothered to argue. And very much that's my philosophy. You know, people come up with the most absurd things, and I'm just happy to let them carry on believing that and saying it. I've got no interest in anything except my own little narrow view, my own narrow path of life. Nothing that these people are doing off to the side, believing in a flat earth or anything else, complaining about the people parking over the line in Aldi car park, things like that. I just don't care. I'm not going to get involved. It's a waste of my time and theirs, but they can't see it, so fine.
It's a waste of your energy, isn't it?
It is, because you never convince stupid people of anything. John Cleese put this. He did a really funny thing about people who are too stupid. They're so stupid that they don't have the cognitive ability to realize they're stupid. The same mental processes you need not to be stupid prevent you from seeing that you are. Well, we know this is true. You know, there are people who are so stupid, they can't do the most stupid things, and you think, I can't even begin to argue with you, because your view of the world is so far outside of reality. You know, it doesn't make any sense. One of Sarah's friends, he genuinely believes that Bill Gates is putting chips in vaccines and tracking him. You know, why would Bill Gates be interested in tracking a 70-year-old unemployed, mentally challenged loser in Ireland? Why? Bill Gates is a multi-billionaire. Bill Gates does not give a shit what this guy's doing. I guarantee that. You know,
I believe that as well, and I just think, yeah, you're right.
Well, of course, what these people don't see is their stupidity, because on the one hand, like right now with COVID, they're calling governments corrupt, they're calling them inept, they're calling them incompetent, and all these things they're saying they cannot do. But they also, at the same time, believe they are so sophisticated they can have all these conspiracies and not one person ever blows the lid on them. It's like Schrodinger's fucking conspiracy. You know, it's both, well, it's Schrodinger's government is both fucking superbly equipped to keep massive secrets and all these conspiracies with so many moving parts that operate flawlessly, but they can't even roll out a vaccine without fucking it up. I mean, you can't have it both ways.
No, I know. People are just stupid. I see those kind of things now, and I just look at it and think, I'm not going to bother. I'm not even going to bother. It
really isn't worth your while.
No, it's not.
So, like this woman, going back to the flowers, she was never going to buy from you again anyway. The best you could hope for if you didn't give her money back was bad feeling. The worst you could hope for is she'll still go away and piss and moan about it. I mean,
yeah.
Wait, take your money, just don't come back. So, anyway, let's leave it there. Yeah, I cannot be bothered to do the 1 minute hate today. I'm too tired. So, if you're watching this, you want to raise your prices. It's been quite a slow one today because we're still exhausted from last week. If you want to make more money with less work, less hassle, fewer headaches by getting better clients, charging higher prices, and having them come out of a pipeline which is filled and maintained hands off and behind the scenes on autopilot, go to ottcollective.co.uk and join us in the Facebook group, or better still, take the sales certainty quiz. The link is in the description below. The sales certainty quiz will show you where you've got holes in your pipeline. It will help you fill them, and it'll tell you exactly how and what you need to work on. Alternatively, if you want to help urgently, email Holly at growyourbusinessfast.co.uk, and she will sort you out. In the meantime, stay safe, stay inside, wash your hand, do not believe stupid conspiracy theorists, and do not shit on your fingers. See you later. Ta-ra.